All right, welcome back, Star Citizens, future Star Citizens, and Stargazers. We are currently at HUR L4, I believe it was, that we came to. We are now getting ready to head back to Hurston. So we've already learned most of the things we're going to do here. We're going to retrieve our ship using the ship retrieval console. We're going to set up a map or a route for us to get back to Hurston, and then we're going to quantum drive over to Hurston. So these are all things that you know already, and then we're just going to kind of reiterate some of them, make sure that you've got a complete, or at least a good understanding, not complete. You're never going to have a complete understanding of this game, but you'll have a good understanding of how to make your way around. All right, so let's come over here. Let's do a retrieve our ship. Let's see here. We'll keep the we'll use the Hurston, or the Freelancer. So you can see right now it's stored, and it's telling us where it's stored. It's the Hurston L4 melodic field. So we're going to retrieve that. It's probably going to put us on a landing pad, and we are on pad 03. All right, so we're just going to make our way to pad 03. Call the elevator. Oh, right here. Good job. All right, we're going to go to pad 03, and as you can see, I can't see everything, so I'm going to kind of scroll my mouse wheel, and you could see that the rest of them came into play here. So pad 03 is where we want to go. You can kind of see the indicator for our ship there. It's a little circle with a little arrow on it that tells us kind of where our ship is, and you can see it kind of moved in front of us as we... Oh, sorry, busy talking. Let's go back over here to pad 03. Get out of there before it shuts on us again. All right. Oh, let's make sure we have our helmet on, which we do. Yeah, I guess because we didn't find any food last time. All right. So that was where the atmosphere stops. You can see those kind of like blue lines there. That's an indicator of your atmosphere. We still don't have comms for some reason, so we're not getting the little indicator that we have our helmet on, so that's why I was a little confused. But here we are on the space station, HURL4, melodic fields. All right, and on the Freelancer, we can actually come in the back door here. So let's open up this back door. And this would be our cargo area. And we're going to do F here to close the door. Not sure what happened. Oh, didn't close the door. I lowered our rear turret and put us in the rear turret. Not what we wanted to do, so we're going to hit Y here to get out of this turret. All right, let's come back over here. Make sure it says closed door. There it does. So we're going to do closed door. Got to go around this turret. This is your cargo area on the Freelancer. There's the main cargo area. There's a secondary little cargo area. And then we're back here to where the side door entrance is and the beds. All right. So we're going to sit on our pilot seat. We're going to start up our ship using the R for get the ship ready to go. Everything's going to start to come online. Okay, and the ship is telling us everything is coming back online. All right, now we could just go ahead and take off from here. We don't really need to contact landing services, but we're gonna do procedurally. We're gonna contact landing services, and we're gonna ask them for permission to depart. Okay, so we're clear to launch. So we're gonna launch, and again, launch is just the space bar on the keyboard. We're going to take our landing gear up, which is N on the keyboard. It's going to put our gear up. We're going to move away from the space station a little bit by using the W key. All right, we're going to try and stay in the Armistice Zone. So I don't want to get too far away because I'm going to bring up my star map and kind of map our way back to Hurston. So I'm going to shut off my engines and just kind of hover here. I'm off the pad, so I'm really not in the way of the space station. So we're going to do F2, bring up our star map. I'm going to say we want to go to Hurston. I'm going to set the route to Hurston. And actually on Hurston, let's just go ahead. We want to go to Lorville. So I'm going to go ahead and set our route to Lorville. And there's Lorville. So let's set the route. All right, so we got 2 stops to make, or 2 jumps to make, one to Hurston and the other one to Lorville. All right, so I have my destination set. And according to this, my radar is kind of indicating that it is probably behind me. So, well, kind of down and to the left. All right, so we followed the little triangle indicator. So now we're going to bring up our spool. We're going to do B to spool. We're going to wait for it to engage. And get ready. So spooling is complete. Calibration is ready. We're going to hold down the B key and we're going to start heading to Hurston. Okay. Leaving the Armistice Zone. Weapons are now online if we needed them, but we can't fire weapons while we're in Quantum. It just doesn't work. And we're just going to speed up the video here until we get back to Hurston. So this is just a normal kind of travel from one place to another. Nothing spectacular. Just putting to use some of the things that we've learned so far. See you when we get to Hurston. Okay, here we are back at Hurston. And you can see in front of us, we have an indicator that is in red. It looks like a little home plate, like in baseball. And it's in red because we're still trying to cool down. So once we've cooled down, you can see that it turns blue. And now we can spool and head towards Lorville. So this indicates the Lorville landing pad. So we're going to hit B. And now we're going to spool back up. And then we're going to quantum jump to Lorville. It's ready. We're going to hold down B. Now, one of the things you may need to watch out for here is if you see yourself start heading towards the planet at all, because sometimes that will happen, you're going to need to hit the U key to kill your engines and hopefully start quantum so that you don't run into the planet. That's happened before. When you're close in on the planet, the game will maybe get confused. I'm not sure exactly what happens, but it'll take you right into the planet. All right, so this has happened quite a few times too. As I come out of Quantum Drive, I am in some kind of a spin. I'm not sure what that is. And my orientation here, I can kind of tell. Down below me is the city of Lorville, so all those red lights indicate the city of Lorville. So I'm going to get my orientation kind of right here. I'm currently facing down minus 20 degrees. All right, so there's no real indication of where you need to go. Now at Hurston, it's probably one of the better marked landing sites, because normally when you come into Hurston, you're going to see the city, but you can also make an outline here of where the spaceport is. There's some blinking lights there, and if I press the F key and we kind of zoom in, you're going to see that is the spaceport. There's also this large building right here, which is the Central Business District. that you can always use as a marker. The back end of it slants down, and that always points towards the spaceport. So you have a good reference here. On a lot of the other planets, there's no real good reference markers, but Hurston has got a pretty good reference. So we're going to head towards I'm going to put the cruise control on, set my speed, and we're going to head towards the spaceport. And once we get close to the spaceport, we should get an audible indication that we are near the spaceport. We should get the you must contact ATC indication, and we might also get you're entering the Armistice Zone, which we just got. So now we're in the safe zone of Hurston, and we can't use our weapons, and we're just going to head over towards the spaceport. Once we get to the spaceport, we'll contact landing services. And just like when we took off from Hurston, or Lorville, I should say, we got the spline indicators. We're going to get that again. And we have to use that spline indicator to get into the spaceport. So we're going to get closer here, and we're going to get some indicators of items that are on the ground. Could be ships, could be guns, turrets. Now, on most of the planets, well, not most of the planets, but on some of the planets, they have protected airspace. So that, like, when you're flying over a city, I'm getting to please contact the land here. I'm going to go ahead and kill my engines, turn off my cruise control, and we're just going to kind of stop here for a second. So as on most planets, when you're over cities, you're restricted on where you can fly, especially around the airports and things like that. And if you get too close to the city, your autopilot will kick in, and it'll kind of send you back out into a space, or at least push you away from the planet. And you don't have any control when that's going on. And you're kind of just, well, you're on autopilot. They kind of take over your ship and send you on your merry way. Okay? So just be aware of that when you're flying over planets. So when you're coming in for a landing, you kind of want to come in, a lot of times you want to come in high. So but you'll learn that at each spaceport is slightly different on where you want to come into and how you want to come into that spaceport, just so that you don't get your autopilot doesn't get kicked in. All right, so we're going to contact landing services here again. You all know how to get here. Says please proceed to assigned landing bay. I got a little white circle on my indicator now, and there my spline has just appeared. So we're going to head towards that spline. I like to roll my ship so that it kind of looks more like a bank turn. I can keep a good view of where I'm trying to go. Helps with perspective. Now, as of yet, we don't have any kind of a landing area. All we have here currently is the spline. So we're going to head to the spline. And this just gets you through the airspace above the Teasa spaceport. I guess is the idea behind this. It's a safe little tunnel so that you don't have a bunch of accidents with people ramming into you, or you accidentally ramming into them as you're leaving the spaceport. Because before this version, when they implemented this spline, it was kind of like you would take off and you would just kind of head straight up. But if there was somebody hovering above you and you didn't see them, well, let's just say there were some accidents. There were some unnecessary deaths. So now we're entering into the spaceport area. Now we should get some kind of an indication of where we're going to land. So you saw the little triangle just popped up again, and that's kind of showing me what direction I need to go. So it's to my left, and so I'm going to go left, and it's pointing down. Right, so it's going to show me where I need to go, and there's my other indicator. So we're going to head in that direction and see if we can't figure out where exactly we're going to land here. So I'm going to put my landing gear down by pressing the N key. I'm going to kind of scroll around here, move around, see if I can see something here to give me an indication. I might turn on my ship lights. And I'm looking for a doorway, and that is probably the door I need to go into. Kind of hard to see. So it does look it was open, and now it's closing. So I believe that's my landing spot. I don't know why the door is closing. So we're going to contact landing services again and ask them to please reopen the door. We're going to get our ship kind of lined up here, so that when they do open the door, we can kind of get in there relatively quickly. All right. And when you're going in, you're probably going to want to go in kind of nose first, or you could try and move straight up over the door and get yourself centered over the door, and then kind of just go straight down. Depending on your ship, a lot of times these doors are not really big enough. The landing pads aren't big enough for the ship, and depending on the size of your ship. Now the Freelancer should fit in here no problem. If I can get my fingers oriented on the keyboard correctly so that I'm pressing the right keys. So we're going to try and center ourselves over the door here. Now if you take too long, they'll cancel your landing. So that we can go straight down. I think we're kind of okay. Let's go back into first person mode, center our ship, contact landing services again, F1. Hey, let me in. Friends, contact. So he just told me that request is already in progress, but I heard the doors open, so let's look at the external. Yep. So now the doors are opening again. Go back into first person view. And we're going to try and go down, straight down, and see if we're anywhere near the opening. We're getting a collision alert. Yep. So this part is not always easy, guys. That's why I always say come in nose first. So that's what we're going to do. There's my nose so I can see where I'm going. We're going to go ahead and jump in here real quick. Lower our speed down to just about nothing. Once we get in the box, we're just going to kind of straighten ourselves out. Well, I guess not. So this is welcome to landing in Star Citizen. Now we're going to go all over the place. Try and get ourselves back under control. Landing gear is down. I'm in the box, so we're just gonna. There we go. We landed. So probably timed out there, and they got tired of waiting on us on the landing because I was trying to talk and land at the same time. Probably not a good idea. Again, normally you just come in nosedive into the landing zone, and as you get in, you have a couple of options. You can hold down the N key to start auto landing once you're inside the blue box, and it will call it orient your ship, or you can do it all manually, depending on the size of your ship and where you're landing. So what they did right there was I timed out on the landing, so I kind of got kicked out of my ship. If that was a cargo ship, for example, let's say I was coming in and I had a big cargo ship and I was having trouble landing or I was getting stuck. So it's okay. Don't keep fighting the system or fighting the game. Like if you were coming in and you got stuck on the side and you didn't quite get landed and you were just stuck to the side of the hangar, just sit there, wait for it to time out, and what would happen is the same thing that just happened to me. It's going to kick you out of your ship, but it's going to auto land your ship safely. If you keep fighting until your ship blows up, then you lose all your cargo. Okay, but if you don't fight and you just kind of just sit there for a little while and wait for them to say, okay, you're taking too long to land, a lot of times it'll store your ship safely, your cargo will be safe, and it's just going to kick you out into the hangar like it just did me. All right, so our options are try and land safe, but if you can't, wait for it to time out. Once we're in here, we just have to make our way back to whatever reason we were coming back here. Me, I have no reason other than I was just showing you, but now this would be my spot where I spawn from. So if I were to kill myself right now, I would just spawn back in the habitat here at Hurston. All right, so sorry I couldn't show you a better landing. Well, now you see somebody's ship there. That is that my ship? No, that's not my ship. That's a mining ship. I'm not sure whose ship that is, or why they spawned upside down, but evidently they had as much trouble landing as I did. So landing, there's your ship, buddy. Welcome to your ship. I don't know what happened to it or why it's upside down, but I'm with you on this one. I don't know what happened. So that's another player, and that's probably his ship, and he's like, what the heck? So he's trying to figure out what to do. Sorry, bud. Welcome to Star Citizen Alpha. All right, so we're gonna head downstairs, and then that's kind of gonna wrap up this series and kind of gives you a good idea of what it's like to play the game when things go right, and like what it's like to play the game when things aren't going right. But yeah. So it's not just you, everybody. Everybody has trouble. All right, but it is an alpha game, and you are helping them to figure out how to improve the game. And we're gonna go to the spaceport. Oh, yep, come on board. Take you back down there. So what he can try and do is try and store his ship that he was trying to retrieve. So his best bet is to go to the retrieval terminal, store his ship, and then try to retrieve it again and see if it'll put it into the hangar the correct way. All right. So that's kind of the entire route. You know how to get off the planet, you know kind of how to get back to the planet. You know how you're going to spawn. That's the basics of playing the game. So from this point, you can start exploring, start doing whatever it is you want to do. I will probably do some more videos on like how to start making money, how to run some missions, and run through some basic missions, and how I kind of made my money in the game, and go from there. So I appreciate you watching this series. We're going to conclude this series back here at Hurston, and wish you all the best of luck while you're playing Star Citizen. As you see, you're going to need it, and we'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.